I was single and dating in college, and my boyfriend tried something that I said no to and started sexually assaulting me, I would use my firearm to defend myself.
We're talking about why shouldn't a woman be able to carry a gun to protect herself, but if you're going to give her a gun, you also have to give rapists a gun. And I think that we can all realize that that's a really bad idea.
There you go, part of the debate happening right now on college campuses across the country. Those two clips coming from CBS. They're talking about lawmakers in 13 states who are considering campus carry bills. That would allow students on college campuses to carry firearms. Now, the effort to get that bill passed in the state of Florida has failed, but the National Rifle Association says it will be back next year.
And joining us now for our roundtable segment, we have Gabby, and I know I'm going to do this right. Let's try it. Morrongiello. Did I get it? Gabby, are you there?
Nailed it.
Did I get it?
Yes.
Ah, I knew I would. I've been practicing forever. Thank you so much for joining us. Gabby is with she's a campus correspondent from campusreform.org. Thank you so much for joining us for this Friday roundtable. So Gabby, this question is really for you. How would you feel about being in class with someone who was carrying a concealed weapon?
Well, I'm still in college and I'm a woman, and I think that campus carry legislation is a tremendous step towards making women safer on college campuses. For a woman to be able to choose to take the proper trainings and learn how to properly handle a gun and then be able to carry that on a college campus, the fact is that she's way more likely to be able to defend herself against a crime such as sexual assault under this type of legislation.
Gabby, I want to ask you, do you feel like that's just dealing with the problem and not getting to the root of the problem? Because we're hearing reports now, and again, it's difficult to say if more women are having the courage to actually report sexual assault, but we're hearing reports that it's actually on the rise. So we don't know if it's because more women are actually reporting it or if it's actually gone up. But do you think more needs to be done to prevent acts of violence like sexual assault here on campus? They said it's actually doubled over the past 5 years.
Right. Well, you need to take all these reports first off with a grain of salt, because a lot of these numbers, such as the popular 1 in 5 statistic, have been debunked by a number of different organizations and media outlets. So it's important for Americans to first realize that this notion that there's an epidemic of campus sexual assault isn't actually true. It's more or less something that the left has pushed to say that campus sexual assault is a crisis, and the only way that we can solve it is by expanding the scope of government. And that's not true. If we want to solve this problem, which it is a problem on college campuses, not necessarily an epidemic, but it is an issue, we need to allow administrators to be relieved of the burden of having to hold these rape trials on college campuses. That isn't their responsibility, and this is something that needs to be shifted back to law enforcement and to our judicial system.
But well, we're actually running out of time, so we'll pick up on that when we come back, Gabby. Thanks for sticking around. We're going to talk more about some of the other stories that are making headlines with Gabby Morrongiello when we come back. You're watching Newsmax Now. Stick around. And welcome back to Newsmax Now. We want to reintroduce our roundtable, and joining us on this Friday is Gabby Morrongiello. She is the campus correspondent for campusreform.org. Thanks for staying with us, Gabby. All right, let's shift gears now. Let's talk about something else. A 16-year-old student at Polk State College in Florida is accusing her humanities professor of trying to force his beliefs on students. Now, allegedly, he gave the student a 0 on 4 separate assignments that she completed. She says it's because she refused to say Jesus is a myth or that Christianity oppresses women. A nonprofit law firm, the Liberty Counsel, has now taken up the case. They're demanding a full investigation into the professor, identified as Lance L.J. Rossum, who appears to be bashing Christianity in his course outline. According to the Liberty Counsel, the Dean of Academic Affairs at Polk State reviewed all the materials from the professor's class, and he didn't see anything wrong with them. So obviously there's a lot to this story. But Gabby, I want to get your thoughts about this. What do you think what's going on here?
Well, I don't know if either of you are familiar with the film God's Not Dead, but this is literally the plot of a fictional film coming to real life. Professor Rossum's intolerance towards his religious students is an embarrassment to academia, And it's blatant discrimination on the basis of faith, which is illegal in the United States and certainly shouldn't be allowed on college campuses.
Now for our next topic. In California, the Higher Education Committee rejected the Student Religious Liberty Bill. The bill would have protected religious student groups from persecution at the state's public school. Now, according to the Christian Legal Society, many Christian student groups have been booted off campus on several California schools because they wanted a leader who identified as Christian. So, Gabby, do you think the bill should have passed? Or was it a good thing?
No, absolutely not. This bill, I mean, the people who behind this bill completely lack common sense. If you're going to say that a student organization, in order to get university funding, can't discriminate on the basis of their leaders' values and their voting members' values, what does that say about the college Republicans? Can they not prevent a Democrat from running the college Republicans on campus? Can a meat-loving individual not then go and apply to run the student animal rights activism group? Do these people not realize that this is what this bill, this policy, is going to eventually lead to? It's insanity, and it shouldn't be happening on college campuses.
Gabby Morrongiello, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday edition of our Roundtable. Hope to have you back and have a great weekend. Did you pick out something for Mom?
I will get her flowers later today.
All right, get on it right now, all right?
I will.
All right, have a great weekend.